Welcome back to Taival Outdoors, everyone. Today I'm in Kurjenrahka National Park, Finland. I happened to be around this part of the country and figured that what would be a better way to start the weekend than visiting a national park where I have never been before and spending the night here. I'm starting my little 2-day hike by this curious stone. And what you see here on this plaque are names of different towns or regions or municipalities around here, and actually 7 or 8 of those come to this exact point, and they have done so for centuries. And even to this day, if you look at Finnish maps, you can see all of those borders crossing or coming to this one point, to this border stone. A very cool place to start this journey. You can see that the park service is rebuilding the duckboards in places. Before coming here, I did earlier this week ask from the park officials, send a message and said that, hey, I heard that these duckboards that lead from the main parking lot towards south, that they might be in bad shape. And is that route now completely closed or not? But they assured that the route is open. Duckboards might be in rough shape, which is the reason that I brought one hiking pole. And but yeah, the trail should be open on this side of the park as well, and that's the one I'm taking. I'm doing the biggest loop, roughly 30 kilometers, circling around the whole national park, and hopefully spending the next night in a lean-to shelter somewhere, because unlike usually, I didn't bring any shelter of my own this time. So fingers crossed. It is Friday after all, and the weather is great. So I would imagine there's people spending the evening in the national park, no doubt. But the weather forecast promises rain for tomorrow. So fingers crossed, that means that folks who are right now in the park are not going to stay overnight. I did not anticipate how warm it would still be. We are in the mid of September and there's a slight breeze, but still it's somehow very warm. I do have a thin but long-sleeved base layer underneath, and right now short sleeves would be a lot better. But I figured as it will rain tomorrow, most likely, and Of course, it will get colder during the night, so maybe this long sleeve shirt will not be too much after all. Now, just in case you didn't notice it yet, once again, this national park is pretty much one big bog or a mire, whatever you prefer. I'm not sure about the technical differences, but still, it is pretty magnificent when you get to one of these towers and get a proper look around. Clearly the renovation or upgrading these duckboards is still very much in progress. All right, it says Laavu 200 meters that way. Kuhankuono Töykkälä. So there would have been the first lean-to shelter of this loop, at least when walking in this direction that I am walking right now. But I didn't go there for the same reason that I haven't filmed that much yet, because I started this trip fairly late. I'm losing daylight quite fast, and I really want to make it to the next lean-to before it gets dark. I do have, of course, headlamp with me, but it's always not ideal to be in new environment, even if this is a national park. Trails are fairly good in terms of their markings, and depending on the trail, there are also good duckboards to follow. But still, my survival philosophy is that I try to avoid situations where I would have to survive. So let's do those kilometers when there is still light, and then enjoy the shelter when it gets dark. I'm going to this Töykkälä parking lot, and then I will have to do a kilometer, maybe 2, something like that, by the side of a road. Probably not a big road though, and then turn back to the bog and start hiking again on duckboards towards the actual lean-to shelter where I want to spend the night. Good, so here's actually a map I can show you. I started from Kurjenpesä, and then I started going south. I'm now here. The first lean-to is over there, and now this part is by the road. I'm trying to hit this area here. Tomorrow, all of this still to go. So roughly a bit over half, I guess. Yeah. So this is the road. Like I suspected, not that big of a road. That's good. In bigger crossroads there are these good sized markings. Vajosuon vaellus, that's indeed the name of the loop that I'm doing right now, and then every now and then there's also a little orange ribbon somewhere attached to a tree or thing like that, so you can't really lose your way, at least on this section. Boom! Finally back on the duckboards. I know there's probably quite a bit of folks who would deem destination like this to be boring, but for me, I kind of like these bogs and mires, especially the places where you are right at the edge of it and can see to a long distance, and I think that is exactly why I'm sort of interested and inspired in these settings. It's the ability and possibility of seeing far away, and that's probably one of the reasons why I like Lapland so much as well. We don't have mountains in Finland. We have the next best thing, which is fells, but still those are so easy to climb, and really the thrill is not in the climb, but it's the scenery and the way you can see the nature and everything around you. You realize sort of not just your place in it, but how large the great outdoors is and how small you are. And of course in Lapland, what makes it especially awesome is that you can see many kilometers away to the place where you are going, and you can see the exact spot and think, in 2 hours I'm going to be there, and I can already see everything that's around me during the next 2 hours. In standard Finnish backpacking setting, walking in a forest, like during this trail at times, you are lucky to see 50 or 100 meters ahead. So maybe that's the thing. 800 meters to the lean-to, 1.1 kilometer to another observation post. Vajosuon vaellus, this actually says that it's 35 kilometers the whole loop. We'll have to see. And again, 700 meters to the nearest parking lot. That's something that I was actually a bit skeptical about when looking at this national park and thinking if I should come here. It's Friday night and all of these lean-tos are very close to parking lots, and that is usually a recipe for disaster. So I have done 10.5 kilometers today, but I still I'm trying to sprint to do extra 500 meters to the bird watching tower to see if I could get there before the sun goes fully then beyond the trees. Maybe I could get a glimpse of kind of a sunset from that tower. I just passed another big campfire site which I did not know that existed, and I did hear some noises from the lean-to shelter, so there's definitely someone over there as well, or not as well, but already. So the plan is now to the tower, enjoy that, then I will hike back again 500 meters to the lean-to shelter and chat with whoever is there, ask if they are spending there the night or not. If not, I might stay there. If they are, I'm going to give them the space and go back there to the campfire site. It did have a big roof, like a big open shelter there as well. Not ideal, but should keep me dry. I can just about see the sun. Now this is what I'm talking about. I don't know how well the camera picks it up, but sun is setting over there. But you can see the cloud coverage is starting to roll in, so I won't be staying here taking any time lapse or anything like that. While I was walking here, I noticed that now that the sun has started to set and it's not warming anymore, I could feel at one point the cold air and moisture really almost like emanating from the bog. And I was crossing some duckboards. My only water source here is this 3-liter hydration bladder. But yeah, I'm now at the campfire site that I briefly mentioned. I went to the lean-to and I'm glad I did. I met this guy there who, well, he started off by saying that, you know, he's seen my videos and asked if I'm doing another one right now, and well, that's not the interesting part. What is interesting that he also said that he has been involved in building this campfire site and that whole bigger structure over there. And he also knew and told me that the lean-to actually used to be here where this new fire pit is now. And he was, I don't know if he moved it alone or was involved in moving it, but anyway, now the lean-to is few hundred meters that way, in a very nice spot, by the way. So it was interesting to meet him, hear his comments about this national park, especially this southern area of this park. And apparently he frequently visits this part of the park, because most people tend to stay around that one lake that there is in this park, and that's up in the north. So less people around here, around this loop, and I think less people also are aware of this. And I was wondering if I should come to this campfire site, or I know for a fact that there is another lean-to shelter somewhere across this trail further, but that's not public, that's a private one. And apparently you can stay there if you leave the place looking, you know, behave yourself and leave everything looking nice, but I don't know about the firewood situation over there, so I'd rather stayed here. I had to take out my phone and start filming with it, because even with my headlamp, the GoPro just can't see anything in the dark. So if anyone has a good recommendation for GoPro light, not the media mod or whatever it's called, because that isn't waterproof, but some type of rechargeable waterproof light that can be attached somehow to the GoPro itself or the tripod, that would be great for low light situations, especially now the winter is coming and light is going away. The plan for now is to eat some rice and pork and make some hot chocolate, cocoa, and then I will have a very special treat for dessert. Hot chocolate and what was it? Rice and pork must be one of the most exotic combinations that I've tried. And I've tried the old military classic, mixing instant coffee to your porridge. I think I finish up eating here and then start moving my stuff over there and set up the bed and then crack open the dessert. Alright, so this is the setup for the night. I have there everything ready for tomorrow morning for easy fire starting. I have the sleep system here. I know it's a bit of a tight fit putting this air mattress inside this Velar UL. However, I've slept like this many nights and it does work. I'm not closing this up. This is not for warmth but to protect this air mattress from this ground. I already put my sleeping bag and liner here to decompress. And I have my pillow here inside this Kelly Clothing merino wool tube scarf. It's 9:30, so time for the dessert. And as you might have guessed, it's of the beer sort. It's been quite a while since I had beer in the woods last time. Jenkkisiili. Hefeweizen, which isn't my favorite type, but it's from a brewery called Tuju, and they do make good stuff, which I like, so cheers. Almost forgot, I also should have, yes, some of my brother's homemade monster beef jerky. This is ridiculous, but very good. I wonder now, since I have this beer on a video, if that impacts YouTube ads. Not that I would make huge sums with YouTube ads anyway, but YouTube is a weird system. They are really like super sensitive about things like alcohol. I don't care. I have my spare clothing here, which is basically just change of socks, then thick wool socks for the night, and the thick. So these are for night. These are for tomorrow. Always a fresh pair of socks for the morning. I think I put this on now. Take the jacket off and put this on and go to bed. I haven't checked the weather forecast, but last time I did, it still promised rain for tomorrow, so we'll see. I'm well protected. That's not a problem. I have a poncho here ready for tomorrow, whatever tomorrow may bring. But we will see that in the morning. I'll finish this up and go to bed. See you tomorrow. Still too hot. Well, good morning all. Right now it is cloudy, but it's not raining at the moment, but I did wake up to the rain. And looking at the ground around here, it looks like it rained pretty heavily. Made some coffee and as usual boiled way too much water, and I dumped the rest of the water into my oatmeal and apples, and morning routine start to be in pretty good shape, I would say. I had the firewood and everything ready there, so I just lit it up, put the pot on, then started packing up all my sleeping gear. I haven't packed my backpack yet. The gear is all still laid out on this table. I wait for everything to be packed, including this, and then start putting pieces. It's a bit of a Tetris right now with all the gear that I have, because during the summertime I had the sleeping pad outside, and of course the bivy that I have is not mandatory either, so it's also taking like 1 liter of space at least out from the inside, but other than that, no problems. It's a bit windier compared to yesterday, but not bad. I'm sure we will get a good hiking day from this as well. And we are back at it. Look at this view. But I wanted to say a few words now this morning about responsible backpacking, or as it's called in Finnish, vastuullinen retkeily. First of all, should go without saying that always bring back all the trash that you take to the nature. Yeah, that is one of the reasons why I like to bring those dehydrated meals with me. They make excellent trash bags. For example, this morning I could fit all of yesterday's trash and this morning's trash into just one bag. There was still room for more, and you can really squeeze those down so they don't take a lot of space, they don't leak, they don't smell. So all in all, good double purpose for those bags. And I of course have the empty beer bottle with me in the side pocket. Hold that thought. There's a crossroads. Vajosuon vaellus. That way. So where was I? About the beer bottle. So of course I have that with me, and generally speaking, I know us Finns have a bit of a reputation abroad when it comes to our drinking, but nature isn't the place to do that. That's just not necessarily my opinion, but I think most Finns can share that sentiment, that especially if you go to a national park, you know, having one beer every now and then, or a bit of a whiskey as a celebration on top of a fell, I have no problem with that. But if you go to a national park with the sole purpose of getting wasted, then I have a problem with you. Luckily, those instances are quite few and far between, but when they happen, they can really ruin other people's trip. So try to be smart about it, okay? But maybe that's for this morning's sermon. Let's continue with this hike. Bilberries and lingonberries. What about second breakfast? Right, I think I found the private lean-to shelter. Vajosuon vaellus, indeed. Looks like there would have been firewood here as well. If I find any details about this place, I will be sure to link those in the description as well. I've been now walking inside these woods for a while, and looking at the map, I think trail should lead out to this forest soon, back near the bog and these fields, because these woods are very damp, high humidity, and the wind, although you can hear it in the treetops, it doesn't penetrate inside these woods, so it is quite taxing in that sense. But good to know, because this lean-to is not marked in some of the maps, so now I know where this is. I will just have to check out what are the rules and things like that, or if there is some type of voluntary pay if you visit this place. Good to know. Ravens. I wonder why they are circling there. Is it because of me? Do I look like lunch? More deer tracks. These ones are a bit bigger than the ones I saw yesterday. Looks like we are tearing this section of the road. There they go. And I managed to spook it. It was bedded right there in those young pine trees. Started going that way. I figured the tracks weren't that old because it has been raining today, and this is sandy road that I'm walking on, so if they would have been older, I guess they would have been washed away. Pukkipalon aarnialue. One of the last remains of these old forests that grew here in the 1800s. And in many places over 150-year-old forest. That's a pretty cool thing. There's not a lot of old forests in Finland. You would think there is, but most of the forest lands here are grown and then cut down and grown again for profit. But I'm hearing some human voices over there. I guess the campfire place is there as well, so I will go there for a well-earned break. Let's see still. I've done 11.7 kilometers today, so already more than yesterday. About the time to take a break. And this Vajosuon vaellus that I'm doing, it goes by many different like shorter routes like this one. And actually one of the locations that I'm aiming or points at the way will be this Rantapiha. Rantapiha, I'm guessing it goes that way, but I will have to find the campfire place and look at the map, because I'm pretty sure my main hiking route that I'm taking goes a bit further out somewhere there, but we'll see. Now for some well-earned snacks. So fire site 100 meters that way. I had my lunch break there. Pukkipalo route goes that way. Hopefully there's some old growth forest as well. But before going there, there's Takaniitun vuori. So let's go check this out. If there's any views to be seen. If I can climb this wet rock. Well, at least there's a nice bench. And you can just barely see the swamp, or not the swamp, but the bog over there. But yeah, there were a few people at the fire site, so I didn't film anything. But then again, it was just me eating a Cliff Bar and some beef jerky, so it's not like you would have missed anything. There's quite a bit of these signs talking about the local wildlife, bugs, birds, and yeah, the different trees. So this is a nature trail that I'm on now. There's clearly a lot more people on this trail. Already after leaving the campfire site, 2 different parties have come past me. And yeah, very different than the area where I stayed. Although there were a couple of parking lots there nearby, but I can see that this is perhaps a bit more interesting destination. You have the bog on this side, and on the other side this old growth forest. Common misconception is of course that old growth forest would mean that there are only old trees, but when in fact it's the opposite. When there are all kinds of trees of different ages, trees that have already died, dead standing, that's a sign of a proper forest. The trail is good and wide, and you can enjoy both the bog at places and this nice forest at other places. So I can see why this section would be popular among people. I hope you guys can hear something and I can fix this wind in post-processing, because it's blowing from the bog, so it's coming up pretty hard. All right, another map. So where are we? So we are here in that dot. This was the place where I had my snack, and this whole Pukkipalo area is the old forest, and I took this route. Now I'm here, so looks like just 2 kilometers until I'm here. Rantapiha, I think I mentioned that before. That's also one of the only places where you can get drinking water as well. Personally, I haven't needed any because I'm carrying everything that I need. But then Savojärvi is the main lake of this whole national park. So I will take this loop and end it here. I have my car somewhere here. So this is then, what did I say, 2 kilometers, 3, so roughly 3.5. So a bit more than 5 kilometers to go still for this trip. So what I've learned now regarding Kurjenrahka is that you can enter the park from many different places. There are a lot of small parking lots all around the park. And depending on what kind of a trip you want to make, and there's a lot of these small trails or loop trails that are well marked. And if you decide to do this longest trail that I'm doing, Vajosuon vaellus, you probably should do it the other way around, so counterclockwise, but I'm doing it clockwise because I wasn't so sure about the places where I should stay the first night. And yeah, starting from where I left my car, it was more logical to do this route this way. It's nice that even though this is definitely a day hike destination, that there is this one big loop as well for people who want to perhaps spend the night in the national park and do a bit of hiking on both days. Of course, you can do it's just 30 kilometers, so you can do it in a day, but I would maybe recommend it as a 2-day trip, especially since some of the duckboards are in so bad shape they will slow you down, at least now. Hopefully they will get some snow in here next winter so they can then use snowmobiles to get the new duckboards in place. You wouldn't believe how strong the smell or scent is right now from these guys, because there's a lot of it. There you can see the lake. I now started this loop that circles around like so. Start to see a lot more people, hear a lot more voices, child-friendly trails as well. So, like the guy said from yesterday that I met at the lean-to yesterday evening, that this northern part, especially around this lake, is the most popular area around here. Trail itself looks really cool. Seems like it's starting to drizzle again, as was expected. It's been raining a bit on and off. Not much, but enough to put the poncho on. So at least I can protect the backpack and everything that's in there. But if you look at out there on the lake, it looks pretty gray and stormy. We'll see. If I'm fast enough, then I'm sure I'll be at the car before the major storm front hits this part of Finland. But yeah, no wonder this trail is popular. Very nice, very nice. Definitely will be visiting this place again. Well, I guess this is as good a place as any to end this video. I checked my GPS a bit over 20 kilometers today. I will have to double check those numbers, but I will put them on the screen with the map. And there's a free crane exhibition here. And I figured I'd check this out before leaving. Very nice little national park. We'll be visiting again at some point. Maybe in the spring to see the cranes coming in. But that's all from this time. You'll be watching Taival Outdoors. My name is Joel. I see you all in the next one.